What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, would really appreciate it if you went ahead below and click that subscribe button. It really helps out. It's a free membership. You don't have to pay anything. It's just awesome to be here and share information, all that kind of stuff. Just really help if you did that below. Also, click the bell for notifications for when new content drops. One last thing. At the end of this video, if you enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a much broader audience. Also, if you enjoy this and feel that you have a friend that could use this type of video, motivation, so on and so forth, please share this video with your running friends. It's greatly appreciated, as always, guys. Before we get into it, the topic today, I want to ask you a question. How's your training going if you are running and you are training? How's your training going? Maybe what are you training for? What are your goals? Or what are you training for? Let's just leave it at that. What are you training for and how is your training going? Okay, we'll leave it at that. All right, so today's video took me a while to come up with this one. I thought it was important for me to kind of recollect on a few things that got me into running and share some tips that I learned over my couple of years doing this, about 5 years doing this, with you guys out there. So if you're new to running, you're a bigger runner, or you're a beginner runner, some of these might help you. So to give you a little background, I was never a runner. I didn't run in middle school or high school or college or any of that kind of stuff. I was never a runner. I did do some extreme sports and I did do some like hockey and football, but nothing that involved like distance running or sprinting or any of that kind of stuff other than just basic type of training stuff. So 5 years ago, when I started this journey, I weighed about 268 pounds. I was almost 270 pounds, and I wanted to get in better shape before I got out of control. I wanted to get in better shape, get in better physical shape, and also help my mental health a little bit because I was becoming really stressed out, super easy, and I thought that running would kind of help in both areas, and it does. But I wanted to give you some tips, because these are some things that I faltered on that I don't focus on nowadays. Okay, so let's kind of start with, in my opinion, number one is the weight scale. Guys, I know we want to see the success on the weight scale. Like that is, let's face it, if you're a bigger runner or you're a beginner runner and you're trying to do this to lose weight, the big focus is you want to lose weight, so you're focused on the weight scale. So you go out for a run, you weigh yourself, or every morning you're weighing yourself, and you look and the weight is just not coming off the way that it should. And I'm telling you, for at least the first 4 to 6 weeks, don't even bother looking at the weight scale, okay? Because the weight is probably not going to shed off the way that you want it to, but you're going to feel improvements in other areas, and I think that's what's more important, and we lose focus on that, is your breathing's going to become better, your heart rate is going to come down, maybe your blood pressure is going to come down, so you're going to be less susceptible to headaches and other ailments. You're also going to notice that you're going to sleep better and you're going to wake up with more energy. Those are things that I noticed, especially after, I want to say it was maybe the third week, is when that really started to kick in, and all of a sudden it was like I wake up and it's, whoa, this is great, and I'm getting deep sleep every single night. So those are the things, those are the successes that you should be looking for. You shouldn't be looking at the weight scale. Weight is just a number. You really should be looking at the other things that are going to help you feel better. You're also going to notice that you may become less stressful. You may feel like you have a more positive attitude. I think that's a great thing. So to me, the number one thing is take the weight scale and just throw it off to the side. I became super obsessed with the weight scale that I was not only overtraining to the point where it was taking a physical toll on my body by overtraining, but I was also not eating the way that I should. I would burn 12 to 1,500 calories a day, but I would only intake about 800 to 1,000 calories a day. So I was always a negative every single day. And yes, my body was eating fat, but it also didn't have enough to replenish those muscles and replenish those things. So after a while, it was really taking a toll on my body. And yes, like I lost 85 pounds in a matter of like 10 months doing it. But again, the physical toll, I never could fully recover from the runs that I was doing, but I could also never get to the distances that I wanted to run. So that was probably one of the falters that I had. Number two, in my opinion, don't compare yourself to anybody else, okay? If you're watching other guys on YouTube, you're watching some of the other shoe tubers or runners that are here on YouTube, and they're fantastic. They're great motivators. They're great people. Trust me, they're awesome. But if you're comparing what you're doing to what they're doing, or you're comparing what you're doing to other runners that are on Strava that have been maybe running for a long time, you got to stop comparing, because every runner is going to have a different pace. Every runner is going to be able to run a different duration. Runner is going to be able to run a different distance, time, so on and so forth. You cannot compare, and every runner is going to have a different heart rate too. So you cannot compare every runner's data to what you're going to be putting out. You have to base it on feel, which is why I try to base it off of an effort scale and not so much a pace scale. So it should be based off of your effort, which is, if you're going all out and you're just gassing yourself, that's a 10 out of 10 effort. So when you start scaling it back, that's when you're going at like longer distances, right? So 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, so your 8 out of 10 should be like a 5K-ish, a fast 5K effort. Your 7 out of 10 should be like a 10K effort. 6 out of 10 should be half marathon. 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10, somewhere around there should be a marathon base. And then you've got your 4, 3, 2, which is going to be kind of your easy and recovery runs. So I base it off of a scale because it should be your effort for your body, not based on anybody else. I got caught up in trying to compare myself to other runners and trying to get myself to run certain distances at certain paces. And then I realized that it's just not working. I'm either gassing myself or I'm not pacing myself. My body just cannot do what those guys are doing. So I just run at my own pace and not compare myself to anybody else. So I think that's the other one is these, social apps and stuff like that. The Stravas, the Nike Run Clubs, they're great for documenting your runs, but please don't compare yourself to anybody else. So that is the other thing. So that's kind of number 2. Number 3, take your time. Okay, take your time. When you're starting out, it's going to be slow. You're going to say, man, I can't do these things. I can't do what some of these guys are doing. Well, that's because you have to build your base, okay? And sometimes building your base means starting slow. I started by doing a 2-minute jog to a 5-minute walk. And I would do that for about 30 to 40 minutes a day, mainly in the evening when I got home from work. And I would just take that 30 minutes and just 2 minutes jog, 5 minutes walk. And then at the end of the week, I tried to go to week 2 and kind of reverse it. Start going the 5-minute jog to 2 minutes walking. And eventually you start building a base, and maybe one day you might feel a little frisky like I did and then go for that first full mile. And the next thing you know, you run that first mile, and that increases your confidence infinitely right there. Because then now you feel like you can repeat it again the next night, and then repeat it again the next night, and then repeat it again. And now you're going to go push yourself a little further and a little further and a little further. And the next thing you know, you're looking back at those first runs and going, wow, I have really come far. But again, don't look at the pace that you're doing and say that it was unsuccessful. Because doing a mile is successful. Doing a half mile is successful. Doing a 5K is successful. Doesn't matter. Those successes are going to come. They just come in increments. So take your time. Make sure you're ready for it. Don't push yourself too hard. So that kind of brings me into the 4th part, which is the overtraining. Okay? Don't overtrain yourself. Give yourself ample time to recover. That doesn't mean that you need to take a full week off. It means that if you run one day, or maybe you run 2 days in a row, take a day off. If your legs are barking at you, take a day and take a day off. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to run, okay? What I would recommend doing is going for a walk. Take 20, 30 minutes, go for a walk. Or get a bicycle, go for a bike ride for 20, 30 minutes. Do some other sort of physical activity that's not running on those rest days. That way it kind of keeps your body moving and keeps you loose, but you're not dealing with those impacts all the time like you are during a run. So that is kind of, or weight training. I have weights that I use, so do some weight training. And all of those things, the walking, the weight training, the cycling, are going to help you with your running. So even though it doesn't seem like it, trust me, it is. It's all going to help with your running in the end. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better. It's going to keep you loose. It's going to keep everything kind of moving and, having a good time, right? You want to have that. You want to be able to keep moving. So rest days don't necessarily mean rest. It just means you're not running, okay? So, again, don't overtrain yourself. If your legs are barking at you, take a day and just do some walking, do some cycling, do some other type of training, okay? So that's the other thing, because again, you become focused and you become so, dead set that you start pushing yourself too hard, maybe too early. You don't want to do that, okay? Number 5, I would definitely say follow a training plan. Find yourself a training plan. There's a ton out there, but you can do like a Couch to 5K. You can pay a personal trainer. You can pay the subscription through Strava. You can go through Nike Run Club because they have a bunch of free ones. But you can do one of those training programs, and then they have, guided runs and coaches and all those kind of things that'll really help you with your running. So I would definitely say that that's one of them that's on my list, is find yourself a good training program and just follow the process, trust the process. So if they have it planned where this day is going to be a rest day, do the rest day, right? We talked about the rest day. Do the rest day, but follow that training plan. If it only says to go for a 20-minute run, go for a 20-minute run. Don't push yourself too hard. Trust the process. There's a reason why they built it the way they did. So just trust the process. So there's that. Again, kind of, it's a lot of it is a mental thing. A lot of it is just getting the courage to do it, and once you do it, it's building that confidence, right? But always being confident that you can do it. It's not impossible. There's a lot of people that are out there just like you that have been able to do this and do it successfully. There's some that, have run Boston and have run New York and, done these world majors, and they're people just like you and I, okay? And it's always possible, so never say never. You can always do it, okay? Always tell yourself that you can, and it's just going to be a process. You just have to take time with it. And again, that kind of goes back to the be patient part. The other thing that I would recommend is find yourself a run group, a local run group to your community. There's tons of them throughout the United States, in the UK, Canada, wherever you are in the world. There's a lot of run groups. So find yourself a run group. Find yourself a running community that you can kind of meet up with other runners and get to maybe absorb some of their knowledge. And a lot of times there's runners that are just like you in the group that, hey, they might not be fast. They might be in the same boat. They may have just started running. But it's a good way to keep yourself motivated if you know that these people are going through the same thing that you've done, or that, it's just that sense of community. It's building friendships. It's just having a good time. And I think that's important for us as runners, because even professional runners, if you ever watch some of the marathoners, particularly like in the women's group, there's a lot of women marathoners that they're friends with each other, and they will run with each other through the entire 26.2 miles, or at least, to get to that last couple of miles before they spread themselves apart. But they do it as friends. They're talking to each other as they're running. they're understanding this is what the paces are, and they're communicating and all that kind of stuff, and it's great. The running community is a fantastic community. It's very supportive. So find yourself a good running group and become a part of it, even if it's a park run or whatever. Another part to that, I would say, is if you have a goal, if you're trying to get into running, sign yourself up for a race that's about, 8, 10, 12, 15 weeks out, something like that, like a 5K or something, and let that be your goal. That's what your goal is to be able to run that 5K in a matter of 14 weeks, right? So I think that's something that you should also do as well, because there's a goal on a calendar that you can say, okay, that's I'm going to attain that goal. Because if you don't have anything on your calendar, you just kind of going, well, I don't need to do. If you have it on your calendar, it's coming up, you need to train for it, you keep going. It's a motivator. I don't really want to get into equipment stuff, because I don't think that's really important. I have a ton of videos on running shoes and stuff like that. I will say that when you are starting to run, go to a running shoe store, like a specific running shoe store, Fit to Run, or I don't know, there's a bunch of them around the country, but specific running shoe store, not one of those big box stores. You want somebody that can do a gait analysis on you. So they're going to be able to see where your foot strike is, if you overpronate, if you supinate, if you're a neutral runner, if you're a stride runner or a cadence runner, heel strike, midfoot, forefoot strike. They're going to be able to look at this kind of stuff and analyze what shoe is probably going to work best for you. Now you can take that data and you can go find yourself a pair of shoes, because a lot of times those running shoe stores say only sell like certain brands. So you can take that information and kind of go and look at, Asics or Saucony or whatever directly. But I would definitely get a gait analysis done from a true running shoe store, because I think it's beneficial for you. Also, don't be afraid to invest. Definitely, you can find some really awesome shoes on sale that are last year's models. Read the reviews, all that kind of stuff. But there's some really awesome deals out there. You can get last year's models, so some really good upper echelon type of shoes that you can pick up for well under $100, save yourself some money. So there's that. If you're going with the equipment, also buying running clothes is going to be based on where you live. So if you live in a colder climate, you always want to dress for about 10 degrees Fahrenheit above what the outside ambient temperature is. So if it's 45 degrees outside, you really want to dress for about 55 degrees because you're going to warm up pretty quickly. So that's something that I would recommend. This is kind of equipment stuff, so it's not really, to me, it's not really important stuff. The important stuff is the things that I learned along the way. And I really feel like finding that happy place for you is what's going to be more important than anything. So, definitely mix it up. Definitely when you're running, mix up your training a little bit. Try to do some faster stuff. Try to push yourself a little bit, but then also have the days where you take it easy and you kind of keep within that, the lower heart rate realm. And just go out and enjoy the run. That's part of the reason why at the end of my videos I do a little saying that's enjoy the run, is because I really feel like, I had to get in touch with that myself. That there's a lot of times where I'd go out there and I say, I hate doing this, but it's helping me lose weight. And I really needed to learn that I enjoy the run. And it really wasn't until I started doing those in-person races that I really started to enjoy the running aspect of it, because it's an absolute blast when you get to do it. So anyways, I think that's it. I think I'm going to leave it there. If you guys, again, enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your running friends or other runners that you know of that might be getting into running. I hope this provides some sort of benefit for those that are out there. And to be honest with you guys, I enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. give this video a thumbs up, never pay full price for running shoes, and enjoy the run. See you next time.